Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Welcome back to TTM Trades. We can see first thing this morning that the futures are tumbling pretty hard. Currently down. The S&P 500 48 points. The Nasdaq down 163 points, and so on and so forth. So, with that being said, we can say it's safe to say that a lot of the big name S&P 500 stocks are going to gap down this morning. So you always want to trade with the trend of the market. So I would look to definitely play puts this morning and do not try to trade against the overall trend and try to trade calls. So a couple of things that I'm looking at with this news is we've been monitoring gold for some time now. A couple call option plays we was looking at, with gold being one of them, as you can see here. So with that being said, with the news and everything that's going on, gold already had a decent setup, and now and it was also breaking out, but this news is further confirming that gold is probably going to break out further to the upside. So looking at gold first thing this morning, it did close at 147.98 on Friday. During pre-market hours, it's already up 149.16, so it's going to gap up this morning. So a lot of the gold stocks and ETFs would be the play for this morning. Myself, I'm probably going to play a couple call options on the ticker GLD myself. But looking at gold long term, the overall trend is set up is very bullish. This is the monthly chart. As you can see, it's way above its middle Bollinger Band and holding steady within the top two bands to show that gold is in a trend on a monthly time frame. And then just looking at the weekly, it's holding steady above its middle Bollinger Band, sitting at 30 and constantly trending up, finding that support with a nice run up here. And that was back in May. Support again here in late November of 2019 with another run up here. And as you can see on the weekly time frame, the bands are constricting, showing low volatility, which demonstrates that a breakout is bound to happen soon, with a PMO trending up, showing that the momentum is in the bulls' favor. So when we zoom in on the daily, here's that breakout late November, early December from that consolidation, and gold is holding steady among its top two bands to show that the upward trend is strong. Now again, the pre-market trading on gold is up 149.15, so this is going to jump up to 149 and break above that past resistance. So what we want to do is we want to see that hold this morning and then continue in this uptrend. The RSI is holding steady above its long-term average, its medium-term average of 30. As you can see, when it pulled back, it found that support and began trending up and broke back above its short-term average of the 10-period moving average, sitting at that yellow line that we're seeing. So definitely going to play call options on gold this morning. Again, we're going to get a gap up to 149, which that opening volatility is going to make gold options pretty expensive. I will wait until that volatility settles down a little bit, probably give or take around noon, and then start trying to make entries into ticker gold as far as call options. Now, if you're trading actual ETFs, then you have JNUG and NUGT that you can trade as far as ETFs, and then there's a lot of other gold stocks to play. Now, looking at put options, these were a couple of the stocks that we did on our Sunday premium when we ran the scans to look for put options and call options. We normally do that in our Discord channel. The link should be below every Sunday. So with that being said, knowing that the bad news is already out about the virus in China, which is causing all the markets to kind of sell off right now, these stocks, which are already in a downward trend, should continue that downward trend pretty hard first thing this morning. So put options would definitely be an option on some of these plays. So one that I wanted to talk about in particular, where is it? Oh yeah, Biogen, BIIB. So with Biogen, we was keeping a watch on this one early in January, as we saw that the price action gapped up, leaving a huge gap here from that 225 up to about that 278 range. And we thought it was going to be a strong uptrend that continued. So as it pulled back, it held above its 30 SMA. And then as it began to try to push back up to get back above its two upper bands to continue the upward momentum, it immediately got rejected. And then the selling off occurred. Tried again, rejected, tried it one more time, made it above that upward band, but immediately could not hold, and it failed again. And then again, tried one more time, it got rejected. And then it fell below its bottom two bands, which further signaled it's not in a uptrend, but now it's beginning to start a downtrend. So the volume is very low right now as the stock it's in the beginning stages of its downtrend. So you can see the Bollinger Bands are very tight, and the Bollinger Band width is very low. So as you can see right now, you're probably going to get a breakout here soon to the downside. As you can see, the downward momentum is already shifting, and the PMO is already cut down downwards and broken below its two averages. Although still above zero in bullish territory, that doesn't necessarily mean that the stock can't pull back itself. So looking at ticker BIIB, if we go to a weekly time frame, looking at the 150 period moving average, I calculated the math so that the 150 period moving average on the daily chart would equivalent to the middle Bollinger Band on my weekly chart. So that way I can have an idea, even though when I'm looking at the daily chart, where I stand as far as my weekly setup. So the middle Bollinger Band on the weekly chart should be sitting at around 258, which is where I think ticker BIIB is going to pull back to try to find support and somewhat fill some of this gap. If it does not find support on the weekly's middle Bollinger Band at 258, as we look at the weekly chart, sitting right here at 259, give or take, we're off by $1. But if it does not find support on that weekly middle Bollinger Band sitting right at 259 and it breaks through that, then again we're pulling back down to the original area of support where the stock was finding support at, right around in that 220 range to 227 range, give or take. So this one could definitely be some great put options to play, although I think it will find support on its middle Bollinger Band on the weekly chart. And again, that 150 period moving average on the daily chart, right around 258 to 259. So give or take, if you do play put options this morning on this one, I do think that momentum will continue into the week to constantly pull this stock down until it finds support on that 150 period moving average at 258. So give or take, that's about a $20 spread on your put options for you to have some intrinsic value depending on where you buy your put options at. So those are the two stocks I have on watch this morning. It's a lot of others I have on watch this morning, but ticker BIIB is a guaranteed push to the downside to try to find support on that 258. So guaranteed puts on that one. And then gold is definitely in a upward trend with a lot of momentum behind it. As you could clearly see that a lot of investors are putting money into gold right now as it trends up. So that's a definite guaranteed as far as call options. And I think this one will run further into the week, give or take. You know, I don't think it's going to gap up to that 149 this morning and then immediately sell off. Now, I think it may gap up to the 149 looking at the 5-minute chart. It's going to gap up to that 149. Let's zoom out to the 30-minute chart. Zoom up to gap up to the 149, and then it's going to sell off just a little bit, try to find some support, and then as the new buyers come in and start pushing it back up above that 149 into the 150, 155 price range, I think that'll happen going into later this week into next week. So for this morning, we're looking at ticker BIIB for put options, and we are definitely looking at gold for call options. Again, the link is at the bottom for the Discord chat room. We put a lot of these plays out in the Discord chat room amongst our members. If you have any questions, you can reach me there. Again, TTMTrades. I'm out.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.